Oh, hello there. It is Sunday, December 20th, and it is now 10:26 p.m. It is dark outside. Not that it wouldn't probably be dark outside at 10:26 a.m. because Alaska. I didn't record today because I was having a lovely hangout day with my Framery and my Rory, and then I had chicken with my Marky, and we snuggled and we did things, and it was nice, and I just kind of needed that day, and that's just what my day was today. So there's that. And I'm going to be recording the reaction portion of today tomorrow, just because, like, well, it's 10:30 at night, and I'm gonna wrap Christmas presents and then not do that recording thing because I don't wanna. But so I am going to pass it off to Future Zoe. So Future Zoe, don't screw it up.
Okay, so, and we are on the last episode of Dumbledore's Big Plan. I am very excited about this.
Hey, brother! Guys, welcome to part 7 of Dumbledore's Big Plan, where today we are going to be discussing the Deathly Hallows. If you haven't seen parts 1 through 6, I recommend you check that out before you watch this one, but otherwise, let's do this.
And of course, make sure to check out the Super Carlin Brothers series before you watch this series, just so that you are all caught up, and then go back and watch this all throughout. Mostly, I'm still just harping on the fact that Dumbledore keeps sending Harry back to an abusive household, and I realize I keep harping on that, but it's a huge sticking point for me. It is the point that makes me question everything. So that's me. But we're gonna dive in. I'm really excited about this.
Where it all finally comes together and the full extent of Dumbledore's big plan is realized. The particularly tricky part about the Deathly Hallows, though, is that, well, Dumbledore is dead, so you might be wondering, what plans could he possibly even still have in motion? Like, yeah, sure, Harry is out working to destroy the Horcruxes, but didn't we discuss that in the last episode? Yes, we did, but last week what we discussed was Dumbledore's plan to kill Voldemort and to make sure Harry survives the encounter. This week, however, we go even deeper to reveal Dumbledore's plan not just to protect Harry's physical existence, but also his soul. Let's do this! Hallows, and the unbridled joy and excitement I felt when I finally got to the final battle. Harry and Voldemort are circling each other in the Great Hall, and Voldemort has the Elder Wand, but Harry has a few more secrets. And as he was revealing them, just the waves of realization that were washing over me. Draco disarmed Dumbledore. Harry took that wand from Draco! Harry is the master of the Elder Wand! Oh my god. Expelliarmus! Bang! Whiz! Kapow! So fun. But the trouble is that now, after nearly 20 years of reflection, countless rereads, and hundreds of YouTube videos, I've come to the conclusion and the realization that the Elder Wand wasn't really that important to the final battle. Because by the time the final battle happens, Harry is basically invincible against Voldemort. Since Goblet of Fire, when Voldemort used Harry's blood to regenerate his body, the two have both been acting as each other's anchors to life. Lily's sacrificial love is kept alive in Voldemort, who anchors Harry, and Harry has a piece of Voldemort's soul inside of him, anchoring Voldemort. Their wands share twin cores, so they can't even fight each other properly. But by the time we get to the final battle, the rules have changed. Each of them has a new wand, and all of the Horcruxes, including the one inside of Harry, have been destroyed. Whoever's the master of the Elder Wand doesn't really matter. Harry has won the fight before it's even started. And when I first realized this, it was kind of a bummer to me. I mean, it's the climax of the entire series, and the fight is about who controls the Elder Wand. Like, how could it not matter? And so I've been asking myself, like, what was the point? Why go through all that trouble to ensure that Harry was in fact master of the Elder Wand? What difference did it make? And the answer is that it made all the difference in the world. Dumbledore realized the Ministry wouldn't actually give it to Harry if he left it to him in his will, but that's kind of the sticking point. he left it in his will. And the will was written before the events of the night of Dumbledore's death, which is important because it means that Dumbledore never intended to give Harry the sword. Like, even if they had successfully made it back that night and had indeed destroyed the locket, Dumbledore was not just going to hand it over. He always intended Harry to receive the sword post-mortem. And you might be thinking, well, couldn't he have planned to give it to him in person and then included it in his will just in case he couldn't do that, like just to cover all of his bases? But no, he could not have done that for the same reasons. If he knew that the Ministry wouldn't give him the sword, then if he gave the sword to him ahead of time and then the Ministry found out he had it after the fact, they could go and seize it. I mean, that's assuming they could find him. No one really ever does, so it probably would have been fine, but
I realize I've just been sitting here for however many minutes, just like watching this without actually reacting to it. The whole thing with, yeah, that's part of what Harry is going to need in order to succeed. He's going to need something that can actually destroy Horcruxes, and he's going to need something that can kill Voldemort. I always thought that the Deathly Hallows were just like a red herring rabbit trail that Golden Trio could go down when really what they're supposed to be doing is hunting Horcruxes. But I guess, yeah, I mean, you might need something with like the Master of the... I don't know. The thing with the sword is interesting just because Dumbledore knows Snape is going to have to kill him at one point. I guess it's not entirely clear at what stage he knows he's gonna have to die.
If you planned your death with Snape, you meant him to end up with the Elder Wand, didn't you? I admit, that was my intention, said Dumbledore, but it did not work as I intended, did it? So, here's what we know Dumbledore actually planned before he died. First was for Snape to kill him, and subsequently for Harry and everyone else to believe Snape killed him. Second was for Snape to be the master of the Elder Wand. And third was for Harry to get the sword after he had died.
Sure.
And these three things tell us everything and reveal Dumbledore's grand plan to protect Harry's soul. If you don't mind dying, said Snape roughly, why not let Draco do it? The boy's soul is not yet so damaged, said Dumbledore. I would not have it ripped apart on my account. And
Snape
we've seen what having your soul ripped apart looks like after death. This little gross baby thing you see alongside Harry at King's Cross is what is left of Voldemort's soul. It is totally mangled and not able to pass on to death. Dumbledore expected Snape to become headmaster at Hogwarts after he died. That means Dumbledore always intended for Snape to be the one to give Harry the sword. But you expected Voldemort to go after the wand? I have been sure that he would try, ever since your wand beat Voldemort in the graveyard of Little Hangleton. Which, okay, in case you didn't catch it, that is basically Dumbledore sentencing Snape to death. He intended Snape to become master of the wand and also was sure that Voldemort would go after it. According to Dumbledore, now Severus, the sword, do not forget that it must be taken under conditions of need and valor. So, what I think his original plan was for his portrait to instruct Snape to duel Harry and lose on purpose.
Okay,
Harry
sure.
was always meant to think Snape killed Dumbledore and always had a grudge against him anyway, so I don't think it would have been very difficult to lure him into a fight. Plus, if Snape was wielding the sword, which Harry knew he needed because of Dumbledore's will, well, that would just anger him further. I mean, how dare Snape wield the sword of Gryffindor, the slime ball? Then, later on, Voldemort, in his quest for the Elder Wand, would realize he needed to kill Snape, which he would do, falsely believe that he was the master of the Elder Wand, and then in the final match between Harry, it would backfire because it doesn't want to fire on its true master, and kaboom, Harry wins the day. Voldemort kills himself, Harry's soul is intact, and it really is so perfect. Although there are a few other loose ends I do want to address and just finish off. Like, if Snape's trying to lose, does that really count as a win for Harry? Would the wand actually transfer to him? And as for the sword, there's not much valor in defeating someone who's trying to lose, right? As far as the wand is concerned, dead is dead. Disarmed is disarmed. From Dumbledore's perspective, Harry would become the master even in a planned loss. And as for the sword, it really doesn't matter if Snape...
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense because the Elder Wand really does only care, like, were you disarmed by somebody else? It doesn't necessarily care about the conditions under that disarmament. It's very much a black and white artifact. The sword, though, it doesn't have allegiance. It just appears to a Gryffindor in time of need. So.
Is trying to win or lose. Because no matter what, from Harry's perspective, Snape is a deadly opponent, and facing him is gonna require courage no matter what. Flitwick was a dueling champion. I'm sorry, Snape was Snape. I always assumed that line meant Flitwick was in sort of like league with rules and referees and stuff, not like out in the wild. Snape was Snape. I think Snape beats Flitwick. Yeah, at me. But that
I still think that the duel between Flitwick and Snape would be incredibly entertaining to watch. Like, it would be a edge of your seat soccer match the whole time. But yeah, no, Snape just had straight up experience doing some hard stuff. So sure. Street fighting often beats people who are used to fighting with rules, because they forget there's no rules.
But that, you guys, was Dumbledore's true plan to protect Harry's soul in the Deathly Hallows. Of course, it doesn't work out that way because Draco disarms Dumbledore, but fortunately, Harry works it out on his own, and this exact scenario plays out, which honestly is kind of better in my opinion, because it means that Harry figured it out on his own without Dumbledore's help, despite all of his planning. But there you go, guys. That is part 7 of Dumbledore's big plan. I hope you have enjoyed watching this series as much as we have enjoyed making it. It has been so much fun.
This series is really, really well done. It's so well researched and looked at. I think it, even from my own personal bias, which is very much against Dumbledore, all of this makes sense, and definitely plays into that. So yeah, I think this is a really, really great series. Definitely want to kind of make my own series about Dumbledore now, just like pulling apart things from the book. If that is something that you would like to see, I think you should definitely let me know. I want to do that. 2021 for Snitches and Witches is going to contain quite a few like really cool new things. There might be some like side channels, perhaps. It's not. Alright, hang on a second.
Having another live stream this Friday, but we're gonna move it up.
Anywho, perhaps a couple of like side channels that aren't really gonna have anything to do with Wizards Unite. But don't you worry, Snitches and Witches isn't going anywhere. We're gonna be recording some really interesting stuff, including I think I'm gonna start covering Catan as well, because I'm very excited about Catan and I want to share my excitement with you. So I think I'm going to start covering Catan as well, and I think that'll be a lot of fun. I'm excited about it. I'm going to throw it back to Pat Zoe.
Yay, reactions. This is Dolly Mix. And there's not even a gumdrop in it, so. Again, I feel like I have a fairly good knowledge of confectionery and like British things, but the Dolly Mix is a baffling one. I don't understand the texture, the flavor is weird. It's kind of chalky. That needs to be a horror edit. Nice short one today. There you go. Oh, God! Did you just make a 2014 Vine reference? Did you just make... I love that, man, and that's definitely one of them. That's the peak kind of comedy you're going to get from this channel. Okay, I'm going to bed.